Okay, so I'm continuing with the repair of the Centipede board. In recap of the first video, we got it running, at least self-test. We're getting 8 beeps in the self-test. According to the manual, 8 beeps means replace M5, which is one of these 2101 or 9101 RAMs. This one right here in particular is M5. So that's where I'll begin. I'll begin by replacing that, and we'll see what happens with the self-test. All right, so I've got a new RAM installed into M5. Let's see how many beeps we get now. I know there's going to be beeps because the screen is basically unchanged. Let's see if replacing that RAM even fixed that particular problem. Okay, we're getting 7 beeps now. According to the manual, 7 beeps is a different RAM. Which one is it though? And I should have had this ready. Okay, 7 beeps. 7 beeps is going to be M7. All right. So the one straight across from the M5 guy that I just replaced. This one right here. So that's the one I replaced. That one is now being reported. Let me replace it and see what happens. All right, so I've got the second RAM replaced, and self-test is now reporting 8 beeps again. So it's saying this RAM is bad. All right, so I know these are both brand new. They both are going to be good, pretty sure. So I've got some sort of problem causing that line of RAMs to report an error. So I'm going to get the scope warmed up and start probing around and see if I can figure it out. All right, so I probed around the RAMs and signals are looking good, and with the chips out, the proper pins, output pins are floating, so that makes sense. I don't see a problem with connectivity to them. They look good. So the outputs of the RAMs come into here, into some 74 153s, and then those are fed into 2 buffers. One buffer feeds back and goes to the processor. This is the path that is taken for the self-check, the test to see if the RAMs are good. It goes through here. So I'm going to try replacing this. Now this one, if it's bad, it'll affect the graphics on the screen, but it will not affect the self-test because there's no path back to the processor. So I'm going to change, looks like J5, the LS273 that's at J5. So let's see what happens with that. Maybe that'll fix it. I replaced the 373 latch, tri-statable latch that goes, or buffer, I guess, tri-statable buffer for the RAMs back to the processor. It did not fix the problem. So I started looking at the schematics even further, and I realized the write enable is different for all the RAMs. So I used a logic probe. It's on pin 20. Most of the RAMs have a signal when I push the reset button. I don't know if I can do this and hold the camera, but I guess just take my word on it. If you put a logic probe like this, you can't see with an oscilloscope. I couldn't see with an oscilloscope, but with a logic probe like this, if you push the... I can't do it. Let's see. Anyway, with the logic probe on the right enable signal for each RAM, if you push the reset button to restart the self-test, it will pulse. The pulse light will flash briefly. It's not flashing for these 2 guys. Okay? That, if you look at the schematic, is playfield write 2. So M7 and M5, these 2 guys, pin 20 is playfield write 2. Playfield write 2 is coming off a 139, which is part of the decoding circuitry. So I'm going to replace this 139. It's at location J2. So let me replace that, and I bet you that gets the RAM problem resolved. Let me give that a shot. All right, the 74 139 has been replaced, and bam, game's running. Looks good. Looks real good. Languages need to be adjusted. I'll have to figure out the dip switch settings for that. I'll do that in a minute. But yeah, looks good. Self-test passes. There's no errors except for this one, this 4FF. That's because the EEA-ROM doesn't have the necessary power. To do that, I would need to add an external power supply for plus 22 and minus 22 volts on those two wires to test that. But I'm not too concerned about that. Pretty sure it's going to be good. I mean, these do go bad quite often, but many times they're good. So it's about a 50-50, I guess. If someone gets this board in, it's bad, we'll swap that out. Everything else, there's a charge pump on it that supplies the voltage. That's not going to be a problem. I've never seen one of those go bad, but I'm sure it happens. But almost always, if there's a problem with the EEA-ROM, it's going to be just the chip itself, and it's socketed, so it's easy to replace. Now, the trackball circuitry that I did, the trackball's working, as best I can tell. It's working very well. So that repair is good. It's bueno. I got it right the first time, so I don't have to touch it. So that is it. That's the repair. We're done. I'll set the dip switch settings, and that'll be the end of the video. Thanks a lot, guys. Okay, got the dip switch settings to factory default. So except for free play, I've got it set to free play. Let's see if it plays. Can't really move the trackball and hold the camera, so, but I can either fire or I can move. No. Colors look good. Audio sounds great. All the sprites and everything look good. Letters look good. And I'm gonna die. So I wonder what happened to the board to where someone had to do a repair on the trackball, because it seems to be fine. Now, I did replace the chips in the trackball circuitry when I installed the sockets. Well, anyway, that proves it's good. Everything looks good. That's it for this video. Again, as I said in the first segment, if somebody needs, if they have a Centipede board they can't repair, or if they just want to swap a non-working one for this one, minus the CPU and the pokey, reach out to me. Maybe we can work out some sort of deal. Anyway, again, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Well, I thought I was done with this video, but I realized I didn't check the parts that I removed. I thought the two rams for the playfield rams were going to be good, but they weren't. The M7 was good, but the one from M5 was not good. It was bad. So in summary, we had one bad 9101, we had one bad 2114, we had a bad 74289, and we had this section here, the trackball section, that needed to be rebuilt. Also, we had the 74139 that had to be replaced. It was in the decoding for the right signal, the right enable for the playfield rams. So 4 chips plus the damage to the trackball circuitry, and that was all we had. Oh, and plus the missing processor and pokey. So I think that's it. That was a summary I wanted to make. Again, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it.